famous for his vulgar and crass style of comedy that only seeks to patronize women by making sexist and misogynistic remarks, Kapil Sharma has found himself in hot soup once again. This time, the so-called comedian has been accused of refusing to allow the cast of the Kashmir Files on its set because the movie attempts to divulge the reality of how Kashmiri Pandits were massacred and butchered during the genocide in the valley. Hi and welcome to TFI English, the national socio-political analysis arm of the TFI Media Group. I'm your host Apurva, and in this video I will tell you how the Kapil Sharma Show is rife with controversies, from mocking Sushant's death to ignoring the cast of the Kashmir Files. So, let's begin. Comedian Kapil Sharma, famous for the Kapil Sharma Show, has once again found himself in controversy after filmmaker Vivek Agnihotri alleged that Kapil had refused to allow his film titled The Kashmir Files to be promoted on the show. It all came to light when a fan tagged Vivek in a tweet saying that they would love to watch the cast and crew promote the film on the Kapil Sharma Show. However, Vivek replied to the tweet saying that the comedian and the TKSS team had refused to get them on the show as his film did not have popular stars. Vivek tweeted, "I don't get to decide who should be invited on the Kapil Sharma Show. It's his and his producer's choice whom he wants to invite. As far as Bollywood is concerned, I would say what once Mr. Bachchan was quoted saying about Gandhis, wo raja hain, hum rank." Earlier in a tweet, Vivek Agnihotri alleged that TKSS makers refused to promote his film because it did not have a commercial star. He wrote, "They refused to call us on their show because we don't have a big commercial star." While Vivek claimed that it was the lack of star power that led to the snub from Kapil Sharma's show, the netizens quickly joined the dots and stated the obvious. One netizen remarked that the movie had big names like Anupam Kher and Mithun Da, Pallavi Joshi, and yet if they were not being allowed on the show, it means they were afraid of the hard truth coming out. The Kashmir Files is based on the genocide of Kashmiri Pandits and is inspired by true events that transpired in the early 90s. It stars Anupam Kher, Mithun Chakravarti in the lead roles and sheds light on the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits from their native homes in the valley by the radical Islamists and terrorists. The movie has garnered rave reviews for being hard-hitting and not trying to sugarcoat the reality as the previous movies made on the topic attempted to do so. Earlier, a movie on the same topic tried to humanize the terrorists and became a love story midway, inviting the fury of Kashmiri Pandits who were livid at such a lame attempt to portray the agony of Pandits. A petition was recently squashed by the Bombay High Court that demanded a stay on the movie, and thus it will be released this Friday. However, Kapil Sharma, who invites every other film star under the sun, especially the nepotistic kids on his show to promote their movies, has cautiously decided to depose Vivek Agnihotri and his movie. Kapil Sharma is closely connected to the upper brass of Bollywood, which is intimately connected to the Islamic overlords of the underworld. This allowing the movie and its stars on the set of the show puts Kapil in jeopardy, and he has actively avoided any engagement with the movie. However, it should not come as a surprise to anyone, as Kapil Sharma has a penchant for controversies and taking the wrong sides. After Sushant Singh Rajput's death in 2020, it was Kiku Sharda and Krishna Abhishek, the two regulars on the show, that ridiculed the death of Rajput. They also mocked Arnab Goswami, who was vocal against the drug cartel in the showbiz industry and demanded a thorough inquiry into the death of the Bollywood star. At the time, #boycott Kapil Sharma Show started trending on social media platforms, and Kapil had to face a lot of flack for the coarse behavior on his show. Similarly, when cricketer turned politician Navjot Singh Sidhu refused to retract his statements in favor of Pakistan, it was Kapil who defended Sidhu. As reported by the TFI, Sidhu had been repeatedly insisting that Pakistan cannot be blamed for the Pulwama terror attack. Sidhu remarked that he could not blame an entire country for the acts of a few of its cowardly citizens. Sidhu said, "मेरे लिए हमेशा ही देश पहले था. That means for me the country has always been first, but I stand by what I said and I cannot blame an entire nation for an act done by a few cowards. The Congress leader made baffling remarks despite knowing well and truly that Pakistan-based and backed terror organizations Jaish-e-Mohammed had carried out the dastardly attack. However, when asked to drop Sidhu from the show, Kapil Sharma refused to do so and did not even condemn Sidhu for his anti-national remarks. The comedian stated it was a small issue and remarked that these are very small things or can also be a part of a propaganda. I feel banning someone or sacking Navjot Singh Sidhu from the show is not the solution. We need to look for a permanent solution. Shaktiman actor Mukesh Khanna had once called TKSS worst and cheap, adding that he adds obscenity to make people laugh. The entire Mahabharata cast was invited to the show, but Khanna gave it a skip last year. The Kapil Sharma Show is a platform where stereotypical, sexist, homophobic and racist jokes are made in order to tickle the funny bones of the public. The show has become downright cheap and crass over the years, and it is going to surprise that it is still going on despite the show's lead man embroiled in truckload of controversies.